Jar Jar Binks and Han Solo. Han Solo. Han Solo. Yeah, don't even get me started on that. But just as you have Han Solo in the original trilogy, you have Jar Jar Binks in the prequel trilogy. And that is the topic for today. Look at this. These two characters are essentially the same, except for their race. One is a Gungan, or a Gunga, as the creator would say, or Gungans, or Gungans, or whatever the creator happens to call it that day, or whatever the creator says. So Jar Jar is the new Han Solo, and Han Solo is the original Jar Jar. And to let me show you how this works, if you just look at it, watch the movies side by side. Look at Star Wars, the original, even the new special editions, but look at the original theater version of it. Star Wars. And also known as A New Hope, Episode 4. So, to younger generations and so on and so forth. And many older generations, such as myself, when I first saw the first release of Star Wars in my neighborhood, and it was released in theaters. And Han Solo was the coolest guy that I'd ever seen in my life. He was the first possibly action figure type of a personality, like a John Wayne type, as I grew up watching all of that stuff. But he was accessible. He was a regular guy, but he was like a cowboy, and I always liked those guys. But this was way cooler because he had a laser gun blaster. So I loved Han Solo, and he was there. Remember when they discovered him? They were looking for a ship to get them to Alderaan, and this was Obi-Wan Kenobi. Yes, old Ben. By this time, he's an old man, and he's been on too many of these damn fool adventures, or whatever it is he called them. And then he said, "You must travel with me to Alderaan and learn the ways of the Force," and so on and so forth. And then the story went out from there. And Luke, and then Anakin and Darth Vader and all of that. But along the way, there are characters that are essential to the story, but as well to the mythos. And they become part of the established universe. And these are characters that only George Lucas himself could say what would happen with him. And I'm sure that in his contracts or stipulations or whatever it is, when he sold his kids to look it up. When he sold his kids and he said, "Oh, it's like I sold my kids to the..." Yeah, look it up. Look what he said. I'm not even going to say what he said. Look it up. George Lucas sold Star Wars to, and he said, "Oh, it was like I sold them to the..." Yeah, look it up. I'm not even going to say it. Not that, look, he said it. I'm not going to misrepresent him or whatever he said. Just read it. Look it up. So, but in the original trilogy, you had Han Solo, the cool, kind of an outcast. He and Chewie are sitting on the sidelines there, and they're evading the law, as well as these bounty hunters that are after them, or at least Han, because he owes money to Jabba the Hutt. And then now come along here to meet with me to 1999, and we've seen the prequels, Phantom Menace. And here in this one, here is Obi-Wan again. Only this time he's the young Obi-Wan Kenobi. He's the young Padawan learner. In this one it's reversed. He's the Padawan learner, and in the original, he's the teacher. He's the master, although retired. We look at it as retired. So he and this is Obi-Wan and his teacher, his master in the Council's order of Jedi training. You have the master and the apprentice, the Padawan learner. And Obi-Wan Kenobi, a young Obi-Wan Kenobi, is that Padawan learner. And Qui-gon Jinn is the wise and powerful Jedi that is the teacher. And these two Jedi Knights, as we've seen in the opening title crawl of The Phantom Menace, have been dispatched by the Supreme Chancellor in order to negotiate an end to this conflict. We'll learn as we see the story unfold. But the point is, they needed transport to get to the Queen in order to alert them as to this invasion force. And so there was a reason why they had to be there. And they did not know yet, and we do not know yet. We may think we know because we went in thinking we understood what the movie was going to be about. But these two Jedi Knights, these two Jedi do not know that they're about to encounter a divergence in the Force centered around a person. Young Anakin Skywalker, who will later become Darth Vader, as you know. And if you didn't know, well, now you know. And it's not for kids without adult supervision. But then here you get Jar Jar in the prequels, in Phantom Menace, Star Wars Episode 1. Then you'll see how it rhymes with Star Wars Episode 4. A New Hope. And then over here now you have the Phantom Menace. And now here we have two individuals, people, humans, Jedi Knights, Jedi. They're trying to find a transport. And so they come across this rogue outcast, if you will, Jar Jar Binks, by chance. And take a look at this now. Look, I know I'm getting excited about this, but Jar Jar is literally the new Han Solo in this. He's Han and Chewie rolled into one. Notice when they meet him, he is an outcast, a rogue, if you will, causing trouble in the way. Get out of here. Qui-Gon tells him, get out of here. And he's just there. He doesn't even know how he got there. It's by coincidence. Only later we learn that through Qui-Gon, that according to his philosophy, that our meeting was not a coincidence. Nothing happens by accident. Meaning, for him to be able to meet Anakin, he had to meet Jar Jar, because it was Jar Jar that, with his little spat there with Sebulba, that caused Anakin to intervene and join the group, at which time they encountered Anakin. Our meeting is not a coincidence. Nothing happens by accident. Qui-Gon told Shmi Skywalker. And so the story is that, of course we know that Jar Jar is the key. But if you didn't know that, you'd see it. Because if it wasn't for Jar Jar, they would have never would have gotten to the surface of the other side of Naboo. Or whatever it is that they were doing. They had to go to the planet core. And then I don't care about all this other stuff right now. All I want to talk about is how Jar Jar is the new Han Solo. And look at it. Just analyze it. But not too closely. Just watch it and enjoy it. Just as you enjoyed Han Solo. And then he goes with them on this adventure, and then he becomes part of the mythos, part of the universe, the fabric that cannot be removed, that thread that must remain. And that's Jar Jar. He must remain. He is the key to this whole, he's the key to all of this. And not only that, he's the funniest character we've ever seen, ever in Star Wars, let alone movie history. And so in many ways is Han Solo, although not, I wouldn't say that Jar Jar is as goofy as Han Solo, but take a look at Han Solo. He starts out as this kind of a cool rogue, but he's got debonair, you know, he's kind of slick, he's kind of cool. But he ends up as a clown. By episode 6, he's just there for laughs. That's his only purpose. Han Solo's only purpose by the end of the original trilogy is just to be a clown and to get laughs. He's only there for laughs. And then just look at it. Watch the movie. He's only there for laughs, and that's fine. It works great. He's the original Jar Jar. But he starts out as someone that you want on your team. And Jar Jar, he starts out as someone that you don't want on your team, and yet later, third act, here comes Queen Amidala. Jar Jar Binks. Yes, me? Yes. What is it? I need your help. Wow, what a change. Character development. Goes from get out of here, are you brainless, to that won't be necessary, to I need your help. And suddenly he's now part of the gang. And he must remain. Because the creator put him there, first of all, but also when you just watch the movie, you'll see that he's the key to this whole thing. And he's the new Han Solo. Jar Jar is the new Han, and Han is the original Jar Jar. Yeah, look at it. That's why I made this video, so you could see, so you could realize it. It's the same character, only it's the reverse. It rhymes, but it's kind of mirror that way. And George is really a brilliant storyteller, and also he has always a knack for contrasting and kind of subverting your expectations and what you might think would happen. And suddenly you see, oh, look at someone else. Wow, never saw that coming. Well, here's what you never saw coming was that Jar Jar's the new Han, and Han is the original Jar Jar. And that's it. Dear friends, that's all the time we have for today. And until we meet again, I will leave you with these wise and powerful words spoken by the wise and powerful Jedi, Qui-gon Jinn. Remember, your focus determines your reality. And may the Force be with us.
What does your heart tell you?